Good evening, folks. We have 45 RPNs hitting you hard here on a Friday afternoon, March 17th, St. Patty's Day. Nigel Bart, Ernie Enns, talking about music, collecting, and everything in between. So, how's everyone been out there in cyberspace? We're just talking about Star Wars and stuff, but
Oh yeah, anticipating the new one.
is there a new one coming out?
Wow, one can only hope. I guess that
Let's get the heater off.
I always look forward to every Wednesday. There's a new Mandalorian. I don't know if you ever watched that. You know, these are little spin-offs off of Star Wars. So
Yeah.
Mandalorian we've been watching lately, and so I'm not sure how many are coming out yet, but every Wednesday there's a new one type thing. And so the last year they had us, I think, 6 episodes or something, and now the new year, now they're doing a bunch more episodes. Not sure how many, but that's just, you mentioned Star Wars, so it's just,
No, it's good.
It's just
It's
a
a
train
good
of thought,
starting
I
point.
had.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I was 2 years old when the first Star Wars came out. And I remember seeing it in a drive-in. You go and we were sitting in our car. I had my other older brother, and we had the blankets in the back, sandwiches, popcorn. And many of our listeners probably wouldn't even know what that was, a drive-in where you sit.
Where was it? Which drive-in? You remember?
It was out in the Birtle area, Birtle, Manitoba. So it
Oh.
was a ways out.
Yeah.
But those things were really cool, these drive-ins. A piece of history there that's gone away. It's much like many things, like the 45. They discontinue things, sometimes, and sometimes they come back. But history is important to remember.
Yeah, it's a shame to lose some of that stuff. The drive-ins were very cool, and the A&W car hops.
Oh yeah,
I missed
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, it was prior to my time. I wouldn't even know what that was if you didn't.
No, no.
But I've seen pictures, like Norman Rockwell style
Yeah,
pictures.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was very awesome. All that stuff in the 45s. Oh yeah, I missed that. It's really too bad. But I did find a recent 45. I'm sure they make them. Like a CCR put out a 45, so it would be Fantasy Records, I guess. Two songs that they had done live at some point.
Yeah.
And I saw that at Sunrise Records. It was $16, and
Yeah.
I have all that music, but it would have been kind of nice just to buy one, see what it looks like, because it's picture sleeve and all that cardboard. So,
Yeah.
but I should have bought it just so I could see what it is. Like, does it come with a big hole, or does it come with a little hole, or
Yeah.
whatever? So, but yeah, I missed the 45.
Yeah. I think something special about, and there's lessons in taking care of and collecting and taking care of your possessions in a world where um, I don't want to do this, but I have to go just a little bit into the area of, I was going to go to the dark side just for a moment.
Well, we're talking about Star Wars. So
There you go. Okay,
so
give me
that-
permission.
there you go.
So I was going to say, like, in this day and age, everything's online, digital. You don't have any, like, hard copy. There's no fingerprint or footprint. Like, there's a literal footprint, like an object that you...
Yeah.
And often people don't know their impact. They don't know how to take care of possessions. Or I think there's a good point to, like, collecting, and like those of you, like you, and I mean, I'm not so much a collector. I've dabbled in it, but I think you're a role model in many ways, Ernie. Like you, how you. You're a carpenter. You take care of your possessions. You know that things have value. That you know, often in this day and age, you don't see that very often. You know, like people will
Well, it's
sort of, you know, like there's sort of a wasteful element in
yeah,
today's day and age.
yeah. Almost everything is like disposable. You know, everything. You know, cars to whatever. Everything's disposable. The
Yeah,
way things
yeah.
are made now.
I
But
think we always have to have a balance too, though.
yeah,
And as an artist, I know that because, like, I always think that art, the individual craftsmanship of a painting or sculpture, like something that you make, um, these are like special items. It's like the physical is not necessarily just pure materialism. Like it's not just like going to Walmart. Mart. I hate to pick on Walmart, but or I should say Walmart, but a box shop and just like sort of getting something that's so just getting your need sort of a quick fix of um, like shopping for pictures, for example, like art. I always use Walmart as a pinpoint them. I can't hide that, but um, they sell good, affordable artwork sometimes.
yeah,
The manufactured,
yeah.
of course, but as an artist, it kind of undersells sometimes the value of an original sort of thing. But
Yeah.
um,
I know even IKEA, you walk in IKEA, they have a lot of nice art and
they do,
yeah, like
yeah,
sometimes you're just mesmerized. You just stay there and look at it for a while because they got a lot of good stuff there,
they do,
you know, and so
yeah.
we're always looking at, you know, colors too, like this would work in this room or this would work in that room. We never
Mm-hmm.
buy much for
Mm-hmm.
art really, but they have a lot of nice stuff there
Yeah,
at
yeah.
IKEA.
Do you remember that song? Stay on sunny side, always on the
Yeah,
sunny.
yeah,
That
that's
was
an
a good
old
song.
Carter family song.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Carter family. Yeah.
yeah, that would have been old. Mother Maybelle probably would have been playing that with her style of the one finger and the doom,
Oh,
doom.
days.
Yeah, she had
Yeah,
a very unique way of playing, and I've seen guys duplicate it, and they
yeah,
show how she played, and it was like with the thumb, she'd pick, and
yeah.
then she'd stroke the other way with her finger. Instead of picking up, she'd be stroking down with that one finger,
Oh,
doom.
days.
So it'd be like that, eh?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it's
The
actually very
claw
hard.
hammer method.
Well,
Little bit of
not
it.
quite. Clawhammer would be pulling up like that, right?
Yeah.
But this was stroking down with this
Okay.
index finger.
Yeah.
It was quite a unique way of playing.
That is
But you
interesting.
know, like as simple and easy as that was to do, I mean, the Mother Maybelle and the Carter family were just the forerunners of music. Period. Everything we have nowadays, you know, like everything just kind of came from there and stemmed out. And so they were just like very, very instrumental. And then you had Jimmy Rogers, and then you had, of course, and get into the 50s, you had Hank Williams and all that. And everything has been comes from that. But it all starts out with Mother Maybelle and her, and it was Mother Maybelle. And what was his name? What was his name? He had a very unique voice. Uh, I don't know. I should know that stuff. And then, of course, she had daughters,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She had June,
Oh, yes. Jimmy.
Anita,
Yeah.
and Helen.
Yeah.
Weren't those the three?
Right.
Those the three daughters that she had.
Yeah.
And I have seen them in person, live. I've seen the
Wow.
Carter sisters live in person in Winnipeg.
Really?
I went to Johnny Cash show. I've seen Johnny Cash twice, I believe. The one time the Statler brothers opened for him, unless it was the same show. I shouldn't say for sure, but the Statler brothers opened for him, and then he came on, and I'm not sure if it was the same show or not, but he had the Carter family with him. And so the Carter family joined him on stage, and then the Carter family also did things on their own. And then Anita and Helen sang songs on their own too, because they were their own artists, so to speak. And So it was very cool, very cool. And I remember,
Oh,
especially what I remember is Helen Carter singing a song called "You Are My Flower." It was that, you know, it
oh.
was an old bluegrass, you know, or a mountain music type song. It was
Hmm.
the most gorgeous song, and her voice was so nice. And so yeah, but I got to see the Carter family in real, like I mean the
That's
sisters, not
see,
not
like
Mother
that's
Bingo.
special, man. That's a one. That is a once.
Yeah,
Like only
yeah,
not many people can claim that because
I know.
that's
And
really
Johnny
special.
Cash was all the same show.
That's epic. Like that's
It is
huge.
epic, you know, when I think about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I was thinking of that other singer too who sings Amanda. Do you know that?
Amanda.
Amanda.
Oh, the Waylon Jennings guy.
No, not really. Oh, different guy, but
He
no.
sings the song Amanda.
Yeah, there was
Oh,
another singer.
you're thinking of
Forget it.
you're thinking of
Don
Don
Williams.
Williams. I was just gonna say that.
Now, Don Williams, I saw live, and he was amazing. He
Did
had
he do the
this.
song Amanda?
He did. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking it was
I don't think
Waylon
so.
Jennings.
Not. I don't
Okay,
know
okay,
so
okay.
much about him, but Don Williams sang that song at his this concert. It was a little concert. I can't even remember where it was in a little theater, but it was so like it was very.
In Morden? Do you remember? Was it
It was
Morden?
in Winnipeg, I think.
Okay, Winnipeg. Okay.
And then my aunt and uncle would always take me to country music concert. I used to do the rock concert tour with my brothers or whoever, but I also did the country music with my aunt and uncle. And I saw we were talking to Reba McEntire, Clint Black,
I've seen all those. Yeah.
and who was the this was at the old stadium, but in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
But we saw that
It was Vince Gill.
Vince Gill. That was the one.
Vince Gill opened for Clint Black. Clint Black opened for Reba McEntire.
I was sitting right in the front there.
I was at that concert.
Were you? Oh,
Yes, I
hey,
was.
there was
And I was
there was
so impressed
common.
with my favorite was Vince Gill at that show. Actually,
Yes. Oh, he blew us away.
remember he was wearing a Jets jersey with #1 on it,
Yeah.
and he played his whole show like that.
And
So
I remember just hearing that crystal clear voice of his.
nice. And Clint Black's guitar player's guitar was very special to me too,
Right.
because he's got that extra low note. That
Right.
guitar with that extra low note on it. It was really cool to hear.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was at that concert too.
that is special. That.
What year was that? Any idea? Like, I have no
Oh, I
idea.
don't know. I think it was 80s.
I have no idea
or
when that would have been.
90? 1990 or
It must
80.
have been because in the 80s, I don't think Vince Gill was probably still with Pure Prairie League.
Yeah,
at
no,
that
I
time.
I think it would have been 92
I'm guessing it would have been
maybe or
Yeah.
something.
early 90s,
Yeah.
just before Vince got big.
Yeah.
You know, he was just up and coming, and he was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good.
Yeah. Interesting. I was just having a thought.
Wasn't that, yeah, another thing I was going to mention about that? When Reba was there,
Mm-hmm.
she had a different band with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because her
Mhm.
band got killed in a plane crash,
That's right.
and so she was there with somebody else's band,
Yeah.
and they backed her on
Yeah.
all the music. And I can't remember whose band she had.
That was
I
that
forget.
was that sort of tragic thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it seems to be the way to go for musicians. Plane crashes. When you think about,
Yeah.
you know, Buddy Holly and Rick Nelson and John Denver and
Yeah.
and Leonard Skinner and all
Yeah,
these
yeah,
people,
yeah,
they all
yeah.
died in plane crashes. You know.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
they're all. I mean, it's
That's
That was-
interesting. That you were. How old were you at that Reba Vince Gill concert?
I would have been like 16, Ethan's age. 16, 17 at
Yeah,
Ethan's
okay.
age.
Okay.
Or maybe a little older, but I think it was that. But I was thinking of, I was thinking of going home tonight and just admiring. I did this wonderful sculpture of Kurt Cobain.
Oh, did you?
It came out of the kiln, like the oven, and it looks so gorgeous. I put color, like glaze on him, and he's so nice. And I'm giving it to my cousin as a gift, my cousin in the city. And I was just admiring. I was thinking of that time in history when there was sort of like the grunge period. I've talked about the grunge period before, but it was my decade of music. Right, my high school years. It would have been and you know, it was just so. There was a sadness to it. It was good energy, good sound, but there's also a sadness to the music because it was almost like a reversal of like, um, you know, you had all these singers and songwriters just developing the art and craft, and Kurt Cobain equally was just like a solid musician. And well, he was like the hero of our time. And then he went and died like tragically, or suddenly, we should say, suicided. And but not to focus on that as a sad thing right now, but it was sad. But I think in my generation, and you know, Kurt Cobain and Nirvana were such.
You saw them live, right?
I did not see
You did
them
not.
live.
Oh,
No,
okay.
but they were like, you know, they were the band of my high school.
Yeah, yeah.
Sort of, there was the only, and the grunge period was all is my youth, and the kind of devastation that, you know, if someone realized, like if Kurt Cobain realized he in a band whatever, you never know what. I mean, lives are tragic. There are tragedy in lives, but I always think that if someone was cognizant of kind of the impact they're having on the community around them, they wouldn't maybe do something as tragic as that, but they wouldn't behave half the time in the way that they do.
Yeah.
We often think we don't have an impact on the world around us, and
But I think we all do.
I think we, and, you know, responsibility too to
Yeah.
upkeep. You know,
Yeah. We have. I think we all have a responsibility to other people, especially
we
your
do.
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
But on another note too, we were talking first thing in the morning. We were all energetic, and we had our morning coffee here at GPAC. I should say we're at GPAC. We're on Treaty One territory at GPAC, Manitoba. Got it out. GPAC, Manitoba, Carmen, Manitoba.
Carmen, Manitoba.
And we talked about rappers and rapping. Where does the
Oh,
origins
yeah.
of rap come
Yeah,
from?
yeah,
You know, like where does that come from, Ernie? Like, does anyone know out there? Shoot it out in a message. But
Yeah.
where does rap come from? Like, how long ago was it? Like, I remember the Beat Poets in the '50s. There was kind of rap styles.
I
But
don't remember that. But all I know is in 1970, the Jaggers had a song called "The Rapper," right? And basically, essentially, what they were just the rapper was some guy that was hitting on a girl, and he was telling this singer is saying that to stay away from that guy because he's just all smoke no fire. Like he just talk. It's all talk with him.
yes,
He's a rapper. Like he's yapping too
yeah,
much, you know, and to
yeah,
disregard him or whatever. And that was the gist of the song, you know.
yeah, yeah.
But that was the first time that we would have ever heard the name rapper. And at
Hmm.
the time, it was just a song called "The Rapper" by the Jaggers.
Yeah.
And then so, where they actually, or when did it start, or is that where they got their name from, or is that what you call a guy that talks a lot, a rapper? I guess so. I don't know.
Well, it's verbal.
And so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's in that direction too, and it has roots in African American music and rhythmic stuff and drumming, and also like jazz too. Like there's roots there. I wouldn't say it in blues. Like all those roots of, like you were
Yeah.
saying, they kind of carve a
Yeah.
lineage.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
rap. Like who would have thought that? You know, rap today is actually linked to like 100 years of music. Like there's actually, I mean, obviously it is, but it's the collector, the historian who would know that. You know how you could draw it all the way back to the genesis. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe it was I don't know, that trumpet player. I'm thinking, I'm drawing a blank. Miles Davis might have started rap with
I
his
would've
bebop or doo-bop, or maybe it was Sonny Rollins, just
I
his
was thinking
saxophone
Herb
player.
Albert. That's the first name that.
Hey,
came to
Herb
mind.
Albert, yeah, the drummer. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
he's a drummer, right? I got that right. Herb Albert.
he was think he was a trumpet player, wasn't
Oh, okay, I thought Herb was
he? He
the
was.
drummer.
I learned something about Herb Albert this week. I was watching PBS, and they had a special on the Carpenters,
Hmm.
and he started. He was one of the founding members of A&M Records.
Really?
Herb Albert, A&M,
Wow.
and so and he said, and I was his first signing. I don't think was the Carpenters because he believed so much in the Carpenters. They were so
Huh.
good. He says I couldn't believe how good they were,
Wow.
and so he
Yeah.
signed them. Yeah, and so
That's so interesting. We were also talking
mm,
about how like record deals and companies like sort of like put restrictions on musicians, like when they go through um, you know, you might think that like the freedom of the artist withstands like um, a contract, for example, with like EMI or something, but there's always restrictions that come along, like ties. You can't always like sing whatever you like or play. So there's a bit of restriction when you, the Carpenters, for
yeah,
example, would have realized that, I think.
yeah. Well, with the record companies, it's all money, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
put something out that's going to make money for us. That's what it boils down to. Whereas the artist, most of the time, or a lot of the time, is they want to do this because this is who they are, right?
Yeah.
And record
Yeah.
companies will say, like do it this way or whatever like that. And so
Well, it's good
yeah,
to
you
have.
hear that the odd time. You'll hear people talking about being in the studio and they're asked to do it a certain way and that sort of thing. Like for, good example is David Cassidy. They had him sing this song. He hated the song, and then they got him to talk in the song.
Oh.
And he hated the talking. You don't talk in a song. You got to
Yeah, yeah,
sing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, he was ticked, but he put out the record, and it was a big hit.
That's
So it's
so
all money
bizarre, eh?
driven. Yeah.
And you need like it just shows that you need an agent or someone who can
Yeah.
tell you, a producer who can
Yeah,
say,
they're just
do
in it.
this, you know.
They're just in it for the money too.
Well, there's
Agents.
a bit of reality there
Yeah,
too.
they tell you.
Yeah.
Every artist
And
will
it's
tell you that.
strange what
Yeah.
sells, you know.
But then there was bands like Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
They played. They danced to their own tune. Like they did what they wanted to do. They didn't cave to record companies and all that. And so, maybe they didn't have any hits on the radio, but they did what they wanted to do, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And look at the following they had.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they had one song on radio, or maybe
Yeah.
two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uncle Ben's Jug or something like that was kind of a minor hit. And then they had in '72, I think it was, Truckin',
Oh yeah.
a song called Truckin'.
Yeah.
Got my tips cashed in, keep trucking. Yeah, it was a very good song actually.
I was thinking about this early tape of a music song, and I saw Def Leppard again. I always go back to Def Leppard, but that's not like the only music I ever listened to. But um, my history, you could say my Bible largely has been music I've listened to since a teenager. Like I know, like my Bible, my history, my rules of operation have largely been musicians who've sung songs that teach me about life, and it's been a very sort of, it's been a like a compass for me to always listen to music that has kind of like guided me. It might not be everyone's vision or strategy, but or whatever. um, I was thinking of this album called On Through the Night, beautiful little tape. It was the first album, a breakthrough album of Def Leppard, and I bought that. But it's when they broke through to the American, like through the American market, and just Def Leppard took off. But
Where are they from?
England, Britain, Great
Oh,
Britain.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, English band.
But on a deeper note, just saying like like what carried me through hard times in life were the bands that were talking about life stuff that was similar to mine, like relationships and um, hardships, and I always gravitated to that. Foo Fighters, Our Lady Peas, all these bands that were serious bands, but um, and what they were singing about was life stuff like me, like I'd go through. It was relatable, you know. So I don't know if you ever felt that with this song, that it was
Every
like a
song,
life.
every song,
Yeah, there. Yeah,
every song does that to me. I know exactly what it reminds me.
yeah,
And, and me, same as you, I listen to the same songs now as I did 30 years ago. I still
yeah,
listen to the same
yeah, yeah,
bunch of songs,
yeah, yeah.
but every song reminds me of something, somebody, some situation where I was,
Hmm.
or every song. Yeah,
Sometimes the impact of music to me is sometimes too harsh. Like sometimes I'll listen to a song and it'll always be singing about me, and it's like it's not always. It's just like it's like staring at the sun sometimes. You know, it's like so bright. It's like it's almost like it could have been someone I used to be, or like sort of like a
yeah.
like you know. And I
Well, that'd be
hear
a sign of a good song, I'd say, right?
good writing, good
Good
song.
writing and good music.
Uh,
Plus, the music is what I mean. The writing, the lyrics is was never a big thing for me. It was always the song itself, and I could hear a song for 30 years, and all of a sudden one day, oh, that's what that song is about, or oh, that's what that line says. You
yeah,
know, till then, all I listened to is just for the enjoyment of the music. You know,
yeah,
that sort
yeah,
of thing. So lyrics
yeah,
have never been a big thing,
yeah.
and so, but I think for most people it is the lyrics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But and now that I'm actually a songwriter, it's lyrics are very important. you know, you can have a beautiful melody. Try to put words to it.
Oh,
It's not that easy, and
yeah,
sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just like you can't
yeah,
write fast enough, eh?
yeah,
So, but
yeah. To
but I
make
like
it,
what you were saying there about songs that you can feel or you can feel these songs and all that, and
yeah,
that's how it is with me.
yeah,
Every one of those songs, where I was, who I was with, what it reminds me of, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
and or just the atmosphere of that song. And there's some songs that have an atmosphere, and I don't know how to explain that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
Elton John, a lot of Elton John songs have an atmosphere. They're not just music and lyrics.
No.
There's a aura about them. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I'm not sure how to explain that, but like the Shy Lights, "Oh Girl," there's a song too. It has an aura about it. It has. As soon as the song comes on, there's an atmosphere in the air. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
certain
I know
songs
what
will
you
do
mean.
that.
I know. Like Woman in Red, sort of that sort of impact of like
Mm.
by no, I'm
Oh,
just
Cliff Richard.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking also as you were talking about the songwriting, I don't want to be so exclusive to our genres of music or taste, but I was thinking of the young music today, like the young music, the younger, and I've heard something from my, I've heard some of the like good artists who are singing, rapping, and there's a lot of like I wouldn't I wouldn't um I wouldn't be as naive. I shouldn't be as naive to think that the new music coming out um, is not as good in quality, taste, everything as um, what I listened to when I was a kid or whatever. You know,
Mm.
I think the music that's coming out now, whether it's Drake or was that young Taylor Swift or
Yeah.
Rihanna or Beyonce or Jay Z, all these artists are like top notch artists, and the songs are just like so deep and real, and often those songs do have impact to me, and sometimes those are hard to palate too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. See,
um,
that's the thing with me versus the rest of the world is I don't know anything about recent music. I haven't listened to recent music since the 2000s. Even I was busy with my career, and so I know nothing about it. So me, I'm like basically stuck in the 70s.
I don't think so. I think you're a modern man, Ernie. Like more than modern, you're a contemporary man. Like it's
Yeah.
just, you know,
It's just, well, I think musically, I'm just stuck in the 70s like it was. And so
I
I
think
don't,
you're classic, man. Like you know what you like.
yeah.
Classic, you're bold, you're classic. But I think there's people who, you know, like my son brings it out, like brings me some beautiful music to me, like good music. But it's, like he's into rap, so I like rap music lots. I listen to it because I know what he listens
That's what
to
he
is
listens
really
to is
good.
rap, yeah.
There's some good rap out there, and um, what was I gonna say about it? But just I think like it's always good to appreciate the reality of uh, knowing the distinction between taste, musical taste, and style. You know, I'll always be a 90s person,
Yeah.
1990s. I always
Yeah.
will be, and that's my
Yeah.
style. You look at my dress, I'm just like simply
Yeah. Except the
1990s.
t-shirt comes from the 70s.
Yeah, but it
Tie-dye.
was it was a renewal in the
Yeah.
90s,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah. And so,
or a revival.
and my grandson, he's 20. Well, you'll be 20 in April. You know what his latest album was that he bought? Leonard Skinner, pronounced. The first Skinner
Ah,
album.
yeah, yeah.
That's what he bought. He liked the song Freebird. He heard that somewhere, and so he bought the album. And so,
It's
so,
always like
and,
yeah,
and that
it's like
song, that album would have been from 1970. I'm guessing 73 or something, somewhere 73, 74, somewhere in there.
well, you brought me into that world again. Like you brought me back there, and I love the '70s music of the '70s.
Oh, I
When
do
I'm
too.
here, you and Brenda and the gang there
Oh, yeah.
have introduced me to a world of amazing music. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, you were talking about the quality of music and nowadays or whatever that. I read an article one time, and this isn't just an opinion, but they said that music peaked in 1968. Yeah, 1968. They said it
Hmm.
peaked, and uh, and I thought, well, that's a weird statement to make, you know. And
Yeah,
so they said why, and I wish I would have kept that. But it
yeah.
had to do with everything. It with equipment,
Hmm.
ways of recording, just quality in the song itself, music writing. So they figured music peaked in 1968, and then so it's been downhill ever since. I guess is what they mean.
That's interesting. It's an
So
interesting thought too.
it's
It
an
is.
opinion, right? I
Yeah.
personally, if I had to pick a year, 71.
Yeah.
71,
Yeah.
music peaked
Yeah.
because everybody,
Yeah.
right? You know, like everybody. There's so many big bands all had
It's
their big
interesting.
albums that year.
Yeah. And when you think of this concept of like a trajectory of like the bell curve, whatever, like this
Yeah.
peaking graph, like what does that even mean?
What does
Because
that
like,
mean? Yeah.
you know, I was born after like and Ethan was born after that, and like, you know, we have these ideas, these concepts that perhaps sometimes don't make sense to like the youth, for example, when of today's age. Like when we say we don't even realize sort of the impact we like. I do it all the time. I'm saying like, yeah, um, music these days, all the electronic music is sort of like it's sort of not good. You know, in my day, it was all the best music,
Yeah,
but I think
exactly.
it's sort of a subjective look at
Yeah.
like it's only like narrow. You got the
Yeah.
blinders on sometimes when you
Just
look
an
at
opinion is what it is.
opinion.
It's
Yeah,
just an opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's funny. It's good. It's an interesting point that you know I don't you know this peaking business. I've always thought of that too, and I've thought of like oh sorry,
Yeah.
I think like um, in life it's an ongoing journey, and there's moments of clarity we have, and maybe sometimes the music goes up and down. I don't know, but
Yeah.
um,
Well, there's something that people normally always say. It's not like the good old days. Everybody refers to it's not as good as it used to be, and not as in the good old days. And you always talk about that. So if you think of it that way, exactly when, because it always worked. Things always change and always
oh
change
yeah,
and always
yeah.
change. And now you're talking about the good old days it was better. Everything was better back then. Exactly when was that better?
That's
When
right,
did it
man.
peak? When did it start going down?
Oh, I know, eh?
So
But
sometimes you
it's
think it's
funny.
like,
It's like,
well, if it's better now than it used to be, or it used to be better than it is now.
or maybe it's just the mood of the
Yeah.
room, eh? It's
So it
like,
makes you wonder when exactly was it when everything was the best and it's been downhill ever since.
good point. That's totally what I'm trying to say too. It's like,
But
but there's sad stories for sure in music, and there always was. There's always tragedy. There's always hard stuff every moment of life.
yeah,
But in
27 Club comes to mind.
yeah, the 27 Club. But look at the reframing, like putting the frame, the movie frame on the positives of our life today, even though there's lots of things we've experienced in life, like our common human experience has changed dramatically in the past 5 years with COVID.
Yeah.
But looking at the reframe of it, like the possibilities are still endless. Like there's always going to be technology for music coming out,
Yeah.
and like talking musically and artistically, I think the best is always yet to come.
The best is yet to come. I like that. Yeah. The best is yet to come. Yeah. And so, oh yeah, like with me, I'm always, having said that, it used to be good or well, but I'm always like, always looking forward to something. Always
It
looking forward to
is. It
something.
is so cool, eh?
Something as simple as, a gig. I know I have a gig coming up for some
Mm.
old people. Old people from the church I go to.
Yeah.
They asked me if I would do a house concert,
Yeah.
and I said absolutely I would. And then this lady said to me, "Okay, give me some time." She wants to collect a bunch of different people, a bunch of
Huh.
old people. I'm talking about seniors. They're all in their like 80s and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
She wants to collect a bunch of these people and then get together and set a time and a day. And I'm supposed to
Yeah.
come and do a concert with them. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking
Oh.
forward to make my next instrumental CD, and so musically, and I look forward to my next song that I'm going to write and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, you can say that's the good old days or used to be better, not, but I still always look forward to something, you know. Or the
You're yeah.
record show coming up in a couple of weeks. I can hardly wait to go to that, even though there's not a record I'm looking for. I'm
This is your passion, man. This is
Yeah,
why you're young at heart.
I'm.
I find you fascinating, Ernie. You could write books about Ernie here, but he's one of my favorite
Uh,
heroes. Uh, and part of that reason is your get up and go. You're gung ho. You have an immense optimism of life, and whatever drives that is so good.
well, life
And
is good, it just is, and I've been fortunate. I have. I've been fortunate in life, just like health wise, family wise, just everything, and a good career, and it's almost over. I'm winding down now, and
life
hoping,
lessons there.
yeah, hoping to retire. Well, I hope to retire within the next year or so, but and yet never quit working, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah,
because well, if you like what you do, why would you quit, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so,
Yeah. I'm quiet because I'm learning. I'm
yeah.
absorbing.
Well, it all boils down to life is good, right?
It's a philosophical
Yeah.
comment that's deep, and
It's
I
deep,
agree.
yeah,
Life's good. I'm
yeah.
still learning and comprehending what that means. But someone that on the cusp of retirement, you'd have a different appreciation of that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's a scary thing in a way, retiring because I get like if I'm sitting around at home or something, even like on the weekend or something like that, I'm fidgeting for something to do, type thing.
Yeah,
And there is always lots to do, like musically and all that, but you can only
yeah,
sit in your music room and play guitar for so many hours a day, right? And
yeah.
so I'm a bit concerned about retirement in the sense that I need to be very busy all the time, So
Well, one day, picture this. Um, I pull up in 2013 Dodge Dart,
nice.
and I pick you up, and we go cruising, listening to the best '70s music on a
Yeah,
nice stereo system in this 2017 white Dodge Dart with nice lighting on the sides and
nice.
interior.
Yeah,
And I take you to Winnipeg. We go to all the best collectible stores, and you're, this could be many years in the future.
yeah,
And
yeah, stuff like
all,
that.
the friendships we make in life,
Yeah,
and that's
you,
what I think life's
yeah.
about. And like, just um
You know that is what it's all about, type thing. You know, the good analogy about exactly that is if you're doing a concert, you're on stage doing a concert. If those people weren't there, it wouldn't. It'd be nothing to play for. You would put your guitar down, and that's it. There'd be
yeah,
nothing. And if it's full of people, you've got your guitar and you're playing. That's kind of how life is. It's your
yeah,
friends and it's people around you that make life what it is.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
it's your audience in life. That's
And to
more
know your
important than
audience,
anything else.
to see your audience,
Yeah.
is important. Anyways, social media has trouble with that, I think, because you don't always see who your audience is, and sometimes we just take chances and we offend our audience. And
If
but
you're, yeah, just on that same topic, if you're on stage playing, like myself, when I'm on stage playing, and there is an audience out there, and I always find it only takes a few seconds actually to find that person that is totally engrossed with you, what you're doing,
mm-hmm,
and then that's the person you play for. And it really
yeah,
is. That is the
yeah,
honest truth. When I play, then it only takes me a little bit, and then I realize that person is so into what I'm doing,
yeah.
and I play to that person.
Good
Even though
point.
everybody
Good
else
point.
is listening, and maybe there's another person watching me that close, and sometimes you would find that out or not. But we
Yeah,
did a house concert not long ago, and
yeah,
there was a girl that was sitting off to the side there, and there was a whole group of people there, and I know everybody kind of enjoyed it. There was a really good crowd. They were really, attentive. They were watching me,
yeah, yeah.
but there was a girl sitting off to the side that watched my left hand all evening. She never took her eyes off
Holy.
my left hand,
Oh wow.
and so I said to the grandma later after the show. I talked to the grandma, and she said that was my granddaughter there. She's into. I says she was. I think she said she was a piano player. I said she plays guitar too, right? And she said yeah, she does. And I said I could tell. She was a
Oh,
guitar player. She never took her eyes off my hand. So
wow.
it was really cool to play for her.
That's special
It
too.
is
Yeah.
very special. And without that, how much fun would it be playing? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it just kind of takes the wind out of your sails if you're. I mean, it doesn't mean you don't enjoy playing on your own, but then you're always working on something and practicing towards something. You always practice towards being that in that spot where you can play for somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's always your audience or your friends or the people around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's important in life.
That is.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
totally good. What we got here for time? I think we're got a
Yeah,
couple of minutes, but speaking to sum it all up, you're right, man, and even sometimes when you're, I think a lot of people dream of having everything in life,
yeah,
dream of having all the money in life, dream of having all the
yeah. Well,
the whatever it is, but I don't think, like, if you had everything, you'd seen it all, you'd done it all.
yeah,
Well, where would we be? Maybe that's peaking, when you'd
yeah.
experienced every single thing in life. It would just be sort of like, you couldn't get that energy back.
I know. It reminds me of that one of our very first shows. We talked about music collecting, and I said I had this book, and I showed you the book and all that, and I said it was kind of deflating when I finally bought that last record, and I ordered it. It came from Europe or whatever. I ordered this last record,
Yeah.
and my list was complete. Every song was stroked off,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of a downer, like in the sense that Now what do I look for? It was so much fun looking for
Yeah,
them. Now what do I look for? And so
yeah,
there's a satisfaction there, but on the other hand, is like I want to still look for something. I want to look for something,
yeah,
because
yeah,
there's an excitement with it.
yeah. You know, it also, I'm so happy that you're doing these podcasts with me because I think you're um, inspiring a generation of listeners, or listener and me anyway, who would might just go back and revive something about the music you liked. And if I
Yeah.
had a choice anyway, or the ability, I'd relaunch a whole series of 70s merchandise that would be specific to your taste. And imagine this whole, like the whole lost album series of whatever, the
Oh,
Who, the Guess Who, and just like regenerate in 45 brand new 45 albums for Ernie. Wouldn't that be great?
wouldn't that be great? Yeah.
And just to imagine, that could be really special. You just planted the seed. And well, I think we're out of time. So any last words there, Ernie?
Uh, any last words? I saw a plaque one time, and just to get back to this thing we were talking about friends and stuff.
Yeah.
I saw a little saying or whatever on the wall one time, and it said, I don't know if I'll get it exactly right, but it said the only thing that makes you truly happy is love relationship, either personal or spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. It said, and I thought, how true is that?
Yeah. Yeah. Very
Yeah,
important. Very
yeah,
important right
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
And my contribution to that, what makes me happy? Chicken Chef. I'm
Chicken shit.
hungry.
All right.
Cheerios, guys.
Keep on
Cheerios.
rocking.
Peace out.